Welcome to the Boomer Technician channel. I am the Boomer Technician, and this is our initial video where I'm going to talk a little bit about me, a little bit about my car, and a little bit about why I've started the channel. In terms of me, I am a boomer. I was born in 1961. Pretty much worked in the automotive industry my whole life. I was working in the shop when I was a younger guy and going to night school. And then when I got my degree, I started doing technical training. I started out doing some emissions training, Colorado State University. And then I got a job in LA working for a major manufacturer doing electrical training. So that's been my career in a nutshell. About 15 years here in Colorado and 17 years out in LA, always working on cars. So while I was in LA, I had a buddy who kept calling me up and saying, "Boomer, you need to get a Mustang and bring it up to Colorado for a car show." Well, I was living in LA. I had a kid headed for college. I was paying LA real estate prices, so I didn't have a lot of money for a spare car. So I thought about it for a while, and I told him, I said, if I can find a Mustang II, I'll get one of those. They're relatively inexpensive to purchase, and also, you don't see a lot of them at the car show. So it's an unusual car to bring to a car show, something I liked. I like having something that people haven't seen before. So I looked at about 8 months for a Mustang II, and I didn't have a lot of luck. I saw a lot of really worn out cars, but I finally found this one. It's a 1974 Mustang II Mach 1, so it's the top trim level for 74, and it has the top engine package for 74, which was a V6 with a 4-speed manual. In 74, Ford did not offer a V8 in the U.S. market. I like the car. It's in a kind of garish color, but it's appropriate for the time. A lot of cars in the 70s were painted in these bright colors. It's got the Ford styling cues, the Mustang styling cues, the scallop on the side. The proportions are a little off, and a lot of people feel the wheelbase is too short. I don't disagree with them, but you know, it is what it is. It's a Mustang II. Inside, we've got this lovely avocado green interior, but the buyer did upgrade to both a deluxe interior and air conditioning, so the car's nicely featured. And of course, it's got that fantastic green shag carpet. So, once I acquired it, I drove on up to Steamboat Springs, Colorado for a car show and met my friend there, and we had a good time. I'd only had the car a couple of months and hadn't done a lot of work on it, just replaced the fluids, checked the tires, and that sort of thing. But I didn't have any problems at all. These cars are really simple and relatively bulletproof. It did eat an air pump, that burned the bearings up, cut the V-belt, and I was back on the road. And when I got back home, I sort of took an inventory of the car, what I liked, what I didn't like. And I liked the fact that it was an unusual car, not a lot of people had seen. I had a lot of good conversations at the car show. I didn't like the way it drove on the highway. It was very tightly geared, and going down the highway, the engine RPMs were pretty high, which, you know, made a lot of noise and vibration, but also ate into fuel economy. I was getting maybe 18 miles to the gallon, and on a car with a 12-gallon fuel tank, that's not a lot of range. The other thing I wanted was cruise control, but that's actually a fairly simple repair. But after a period of time of thinking about it, I realized that the engine in this car, this carbureted 2.8, was evolved into a fuel-injected 2.9 V6 in the 80s that Ford put in the Ranger and the Explorer and the Mercury Scorpio, relatively obscure sports sedan that Lincoln Mercury briefly imported in the late 80s. So I started looking around for a Mercury Scorpio, and I found one for $500. And even better, it was 2 miles from the house of a friend of mine who was going to help me change the engine out. He was up in 29 Palms. Now, the odds of finding a Mercury Scorpio in 29 Palms is pretty long, but there it was. So we made the purchase, and we drug it over to my buddy's house, and we pulled the motor out after we made sure it worked and put it in the Mustang II. The engine itself bolted right up to the engine mounts. Everything in the engine bay lined up perfectly, but the transmission was a bit of a challenge because I went from a 4-speed transmission to a 5-speed overdrive. Now, the 4-speed was a Borg-Warner transmission, and the new transmission was a T5, but to get it to work in this car, I had to add a longer input shaft and change the tail shaft housing to move the shift lever further back and line it up with the transmission tunnel. Well, we got all that done, and it was just before April, and I realized that year was the 50th anniversary of the Mustang, and they were having a 50th anniversary celebration and Las Vegas, Nevada. So my buddy and I went up to Las Vegas with our new drivetrain, and the car performed nicely on the highway. And we had a good time at the 50th anniversary. We were parked right next to the Ford tent. So if you were up there and you saw those Ford Classic concept cars in the tent, the Mustang II was right outside. Over time, I took it to a number of car shows in LA. I took it to the fabulous Ford show in Buena Park. I took it to a Mustang event in Long Beach. And along the way, I decided the name of this car is the Soul Survivor. It's from the Soul Age of America, and it survived all these years. So it seemed kind of appropriate. And then all of a sudden, the company I was working for offered me an early buyout, an early retirement. So in 2019, they made the offer, and I accepted it, and I relocated to Colorado. Since then, I've been working on my house, getting my shop in shape, doing some work on various cars for me and my friends, and now kind of at loose ends. I'm retired, not exactly sure what to do. So last year I started doing some more road trips to car shows, and one of them was going to be the 60th anniversary to Alabama. But unfortunately, I was about an hour on the road when I realized I had a mechanical issue that wouldn't allow me to go all the way to Alabama, so I had to turn around and come back and address that issue. After that, I headed out to Detroit for the Woodward Cruise because last year was the Mustang II reunion in Detroit. That moves around a different state every year, but last year it was in Detroit. So I went up to that, had a good time. And on the drive home, I realized my car's 50 years old. I need to do something to celebrate its 50th birthday. And the thing I realized I needed to do was do 50 car shows in 50 states and to drive it to every one of those car shows. So that's my goal, and that's why we have this channel. I want to record every one of my trips over to a new car show in a different state and share them with you here. And so I've got a couple of requests for help. First off, if you have a car show and you want a Mustang II there, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you, and if the schedules align, I'm more than happy to come out. I don't care if it's a big show or a small show, an all-models show or a Mustang show. Any car show in a state I haven't been to is fair game, and if people want to see me there, I want to be there. And then the second thing is, go ahead and subscribe. I'm not desperate for subscribers. I'm retired, taking life easy, and this channel's just a lark. But by all means, if you want to see when my next car show video pops up, and I'll do some shop videos as well, some technical videos, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you on a regular basis. And beyond that, I hope you enjoyed the video. And remember this, no matter where you go, there you are.